Backpack Broadcasting continues to bring you the best original sports content, but now you can get more of the content you love. For as little as $3 a month, you can get access to bonus content, including behind-the-scenes footage and interviews from the Sports Walk, Sideline Stories, or the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. All this exclusive content comes via Patreon. There are tiered levels of patronage, and each Backpack Broadcasting patron receives exclusive perks. Your support helps Backpack Broadcasting create more of the original content that you love. Visit Backpack Broadcasting's Patreon page and become a patron today. Ain't Hard to Tell podcast episode. Brian's been waiting a long time for me to say this. He's so excited. He doesn't know what to do with himself. He's banging the table, and I still haven't even said it. Episode 100!
Yo, let me tell you something. You know how many podcasts get to 100? Because I don't know, but it ain't that many.
Not many.
A lot of people start podcasts, but they don't finish them. I talked about on the last episode how there's podcasts out there at bigger networks. Thank you. Podcasts at bigger networks who get to like 20 episodes and shut it down.
Agreed.
Come on, man.
We are here at 100.
And it just took a little over 2 years.
Congrats.
And we only missed time twice. Like significant time twice.
Yeah, we had like a month off.
Really, if you break it down, you're talking about 100 episodes over the course of 25 months. That's a 4 episode a month average. Shout out to us. That's all I want to say.
Are you feeling yourself?
Yeah. Other podcasts be feeling themselves.
Yo,
I be seeing people talk about their podcasts all the time.
As they should.
No, they shouldn't.
Yo, man.
Well, I mean, it's their podcast. Why would they not talk about it?
Because it ain't know that. Some of these people podcasts ain't know that.
Hey.
You know what I'm saying?
It ain't about other people. Talk your shit, Playboy.
Yeah.
Y'all doing your thing.
And when Jarod, who's one of our guests here today, our other guests will be joining us soon. When Jarod is talking about his 100th episode with 7 footers, we'll be bigging that up too.
Listen, we appreciate that.
What episode are you at
We're
right
like
now?
about to be 50 soon. Yeah,
Wow.
man.
Y'all halfway there.
Yeah, we grinding out here.
Yeah, so
it feels weird to be in
you'll
the triple digits.
be at 100 another year or
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
Yeah, it feels nice to be in the triple digits.
But 100, bro. Like you understand that we've done 100 of these?
I understand because I said 100 at the top of this
But
episode.
I'm saying like 100 plus like a lost episode.
You couldn't wait for this moment.
Multiple lost episodes, a bunch of segments. You know what I'm saying?
You couldn't wait for this moment.
We're talking about September of 2017.
It's grinding,
in a
baby.
boardroom in a college.
That's right.
To here, right?
Grinding.
Right? Like grinding. Come on, son.
Yeah. So we've done it, and our next guest.
All
is
right,
here.
we literally just started.
Now
it's a party.
Now it's
a party.
We are calling this the Friendsgiving episode.
Yes.
Got my man Jamal Murphy here along with Jarod Hector.
You literally didn't miss anything.
Yeah.
I'm just talking.
And Murph is a veteran podcaster.
Yeah, man.
Murph, how many podcasts have you guys done at Bros Pod?
Over 100.
So
over 100.
You got a veteran in the building.
Yeah, that's
over
right.
100.
But that's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't. Jarod, you said you're almost at 50. A lot of people don't even get to 50.
No doubt.
That's true because it takes a lot of time.
It's commitment. You got to be committed to it.
Absolutely.
But that's the thing about podcasting, right? People think that I could just start a podcast.
Playboy.
I tell people when you start, I'm like, listen, it's going to be a lot of work, especially if you really want to make it good.
Exactly.
And set it up for what you want to set it up for, which is ultimately to open up other avenues. Or in the cases of some people, like we talked about, they want it to be their thing. Like they want to get famous through the podcast and not really set up anything else.
Yeah.
Which to each their own, but at the same time, it's a lot of work because you're editing, you're marketing, you're doing all this other stuff. Unless you're paying people to do that for you, which a lot of people do. Yeah, but a lot of people do.
Balling like that.
When they get to podcast deals, that's what you're
rocking
able
poly
to do.
prep. I see you. I see you out here with your poly prep
I'm
on.
loyal, baby.
I see you with your poly prep on.
Jamal repping the poly prep, Southwest Brooklyn.
Free gear from when I used to coach.
A poly prep alum right here.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, made it to 100. So
How you doing, Murph? As a veteran podcaster who's been over 100 episodes.
No, it's good. Like you said, it opens up all kind of avenues.
It does.
Now, like before, I wasn't editing. Now I'm editing. Like I had no idea what went into that beforehand.
Yeah.
So now I'm like a veteran at that. Interviews. I've gotten writing opportunities from the podcast.
Yo, yeah.
So
That's the thing.
We
I
was just talking about
don't
that
get
the
on
other day.
MSG without the podcast.
Cross collaboration too, right?
Real
Like
shit.
you have guests on other podcasts who you meet or that you get connected with or whatever. Someone who I used to write my NCAA feature on, Victoria Jackson, I got to her through Bro Spot because I listened to you guys are my boys, so I listened to your pod. I was like, yo, she knows what she's talking about. Let me holler at her for something I might want to do. And I just talked to her as a conversation over a year ago. I was like, look, I don't have anything planned right now, whatever. Sure enough, I'm like, I know I can reach out for this. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. The connections have been great, and being able to help your friends give them, bigger platforms to spread or, collaborate through podcasts. That's always been important to me when we started this.
Yes.
So glad that we're still able to do it. We learn so much
Consistently.
from other podcasts. Listen to yours. I'm
Yes.
always listening to it. Other people out there, if your friends are doing podcasts, you should support them.
Support your people, man.
Support your people. People need to do that more. Try to put your people on through different platforms. That matters.
Yes.
So, we feel like we did that. We had 100. I'm excited. It's going to be weird when I say 101.
And
in triple digits.
And we're doing a live show in 2020. I promise you.
We're going to do a live
That's
show.
the next step.
Yeah, but
nice.
because we did this 100th episode, we wanted to have our friends here for this Friendsgiving episode.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot to talk about in the world of sports. A lot has been going on. Some of you guys talked about this on your recent podcast and some certain things that we've talked about. But I want to kick it off with Bryan and I got into this conversation the other day.
Oh, yeah.
And we were talking
Yesterday,
about,
in fact.
It was yesterday. Yeah, actually. It was random. We just talked on the phone and this kind of came up. We were talking about what players do we really consider superstars that you actually want to go to the arena to see? Now, the reason this came up was because Bryan brought up the fact that, and this will tie into something else we'll talk about, that Jarod has talked about in his podcast with viewership being down in the NBA in terms of ratings, but attendance. We talked about this specifically with the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets' attendance is, even though they're in the New York market, isn't that great. I believe they are 22nd. Is that correct,
Yeah,
Bryan?
21st,
Yo.
22nd.
21st.
Hundreds of
This year,
empty
yes.
seats in the lower and upper bowl every game.
Yes.
Every game.
Well, that's the thing, too.
Lower
That's-
bowls, that concerns me.
But that's what's interesting about
Real
attendance
concerning.
numbers, too, because we looked through the numbers and the Nets were like 21st in total, 22nd in average, something along those lines. How much of that is also accurate? You know what I mean? Because there
you
are
can look at that.
teams.
You can look at that anyway. How many teams might be juking the stats?
But that's what I'm saying.
And-
How many teams are doing that? Because the Marlins famously did this when David Sampson was the president. He since told that on Levitar's show. He's like, oh, yeah, we used to flub the attendance numbers all the time. And we know from working at a certain college that we also
Cook the
used
books,
to do that
baby.
there as well.
People
Like-
flub the numbers, man.
And I'm not
Cooking
saying
books
just
is,
them,
you
but
know.
I'm saying like other colleges I went to where, let's say we had a road game and we were at, University X, and they're saying that, oh, there were 1,600 people in the stands. I'm like, really? I could have sworn I saw like 8.
So but look, the point that came up out of that was what I was saying to Bryan was, hey, look, the attendance numbers aren't that great. You think it would be better in a market like Brooklyn? Jamal and I being from Brooklyn, you think that would be the case? There's a lot of things.
Three
that
of
we
us are
talk-
from Brooklyn here. Don't sleep.
Who else is from Brooklyn?
Me.
I didn't know that.
East Flatbush, baby.
I didn't know that.
See?
Wait, when did you move?
I was 13.
Yeah, I don't
Okay,
think
that
I
counts.
either.
Oh,
No, that
yeah,
counts.
I didn't
Because
know
I was
you
gonna
said-
say, because Melo's from Brooklyn, but he's
Listen,
from Baltimore.
that ain't no
but
yeah,
he was
nah.
8.
Michael
You were
Jordan's
13.
from
Yeah,
Brooklyn.
nah.
Yeah.
I actually
Spike
went,
Lee likes to
actually
claim
went
that.
to school in Brooklyn.
Yo, I'm.
Like,
Yo, I didn't know you from either. I didn't know you from the
yeah.
same neighborhood. I did not know
yeah.
that.
He went to Jersey.
yeah, then parents like, we got to get out of here. You got to go to the burbs for a little while.
I should have known, considering you are also Eastern Caribbean brothers. So I should have known that you were from East
I
Flatbush.
mean,
Should've known.
I'm on the border.
we all, that's the thing.
Nah, you don't count.
I'm on
We
the
also
border.
share
We're not
Caribbean.
claiming-
heritage, so-
I'm right there. I'm on the border.
You don't
I'm
count.
I'm in
Sorry, man.
Richmond,
You
so
Queens.
we right there. Barely.
Sorry.
When I say barely, I'm talking about
You
barely.
like raised in Ridgewood? In Ridgewood?
Yes.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying. Like
He can really like walk
you can
2
walk.
blocks and be in
I
Bushwick.
can crawl down my block and be in Bushwick in 2 minutes.
I wouldn't crawl down those streets. Probably not a good idea.
No. I mean, well, today you could probably get away with it, but 10 years ago, no.
That is true. That is true. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/AHTT. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. The Nets are low, and I was saying to Bryan, well, look, the thing is,
the Nets fan base still is
adjusting.
That's a good word.
So completely correct.
They got Kyrie and Durant, but obviously Durant's not playing this year. And my point was Kyrie isn't that dude in terms of being good enough to get people to come into the seats. Like, I think there are people who want to see Kyrie, but are they going to really be like, yo, damn, I got to go pay to see Kyrie?
The casual fan.
The casual fan.
Yeah.
My point is that he's not like a Giannis. He's not LeBron. He's not AD. He's not, I'll even say, a player who's inefficient. Westbrook, who's exciting to some degree. He's not Steph Curry. He's not those guys. So we started going through like, hey, what guys are absolutely, to take a Stephen A term, box office, and what guys are not, right?
Stephen A's had a rough week.
Do those guys really exist? And like how many? Because to me, it's more about winning draws, and like people, like fans love to be a part of that. They love to be winners. Like, name me a box office star who fills the seats, but is not on a winning team.
In this current NBA?
Yeah.
I think Zion Williamson out of curiosity.
Right, but he hasn't done it yet.
But that's its own sort of special subcategory.
AD was on New Orleans. They
were not drawn well in New Orleans.
Well, now being in LA, obviously.
And you know what I was counting too? I was also counting how that impacts teams when they go on the road too, right? Like, so if the Nets attendance is low and the Lakers come in, we expect that game to sell out.
Yeah,
and the reason that game sells out is, I do agree with you, Murph, winning is a part of it, undoubtedly.
But then when Kevin Durant plays, because he is a superstar at that level, there are going to be more people watching those games.
I would think so, because I think there's going to be more people.
But it's also because they'll be better.
Yeah, well, because of him.
Because of him, right?
Because of him.
But I'm just saying, if he were by himself, with a bunch of nobodies, and they were like less than 500 or 500.
So I think the guy. So to Murph's point, I think the guy that puts, because you just said somebody by themselves with a bunch of
LeBron,
nobodies, right? LeBron in Cleveland, but they were winning. That goes to Murph's point, right?
Yeah, they were winning.
But can you really have one without the other, though? I guess because if you're
that's kind of my point,
right? Because if you're that big of a star, you would be winning some, right?
So it's sort of multifaceted.
You can't be a top 5 player and not win. I mean, AD is a great example of that.
But they won't put you there though.
We're looking at a couple different things, right? So there's levels to everything, right? There are your super duper mega stars, right? And there's 3, 4, 5 of them max. So that's it.
Name them.
LeBron, KD when he's healthy, Steph Curry,
Kawhi.
But that the casual fan, like us, we love hoops. So
we're taking us out.
We got to take our mindset out of it.
I think Kawhi's at the point
he
now.
He might now because of the next
I think because he won a championship
in Toronto.
Yeah. Yes.
But again, he played in 2 markets that are kind of like, because again, that's the other thing. Market size matters, right? Yeah. Again, AD is that good of a player, but New Orleans, because of football and LSU and all this other stuff, ain't nobody really checking for them in the Smoothie King
But
Center.
if he's that big a star, we're trying to, like, is it star driven? Like, I mean, I think if you put LeBron in New Orleans, they're selling out.
Yes.
At least in his prime.
You could put him anywhere.
He's also
you could put him in Montana. Honestly,
he might be the greatest player of all time, right? So it's like it takes
only
those kinds
one
of
or two
things.
of those.
Well, I think Kevin Durant healthy, you probably put him anywhere.
Durant, right? Steph Curry because of what he's done to the game and the revolutionization of the game.
Steph Curry is there because they love him in Middle America.
Well,
they love him.
No, he's also a really great shooter.
No, but that too.
Before.
But I'm also saying that.
Oh, he's definitely fan-friendly.
Everybody like he's
fan-friendly.
He's universally like he's probably still the most liked superstar out of everybody.
100%.
I don't disagree with
100%
that.
agree with that.
And he became more likable when Kevin Durant got there
100%.
because it's like, we gotta,
100%.
So
100%. And then you have your next tier of guys, right? Who are also, and I think Giannis, because Milwaukee's numbers are good, right? In terms
people
of
are coming to see
in terms of the sellout and home and a road.
And he doesn't play with anybody. That's what's kind of going to Murph's point. He doesn't really play with anybody else that's exciting.
But they win too.
No
I agree.
Chris
No,
Middleton.
that's why I thought that point made
sense. You have to
sense.
also win with it, so I agree with you there.
Yeah.
Kyrie ain't in that class of guys.
Agreed.
He's just not.
Agreed.
And some people would disagree with that.
Some people are
Trae
crazy.
Young bringing people to Atlanta? I don't know what the numbers are.
See, Atlanta's a very tough sports market.
Atlanta
right?
has
so fickle.
Atlanta has the 3rd lowest attendance so far.
So no, he's not.
And to your point, they're not winning.
Right.
But the other thing is, do you think that he can? And if he can, is that predicated on them winning? Right? Like, so if Trae Young is still putting up the numbers that he is, because he's clearly an exciting young player, right? All of us would agree with that.
Right.
He's not on to go for the casual fan, he's not on the tip of the tongue for the casual fan in the national view, right? But if he starts playing better, as him and Doncic, who I also think Doncic is nearing that.
I'm curious, what are the Dallas numbers?
And where were they?
What do you want? Do you
where
want
were they
average?
under Nowitzki?
You want average or percentage?
That would actually be a good
What matters
comparison.
more here? Average or percentage?
Percentage, I think.
Percentage? Dallas is first in the NBA. Wow. Yes. And in average fans per game,
Yeah.
they're fourth.
And Dallas itself, not just pro sports. Dallas is a football city,
That
right?
is. It's a
Though they-
Cowboys,
but
Plano,
look,
it's a
East and
football
West,
state.
all
But-
that, right.
But what was Dallas?
But they did win a
previous
championship
years?
Yes,
in
they-
2011.
They have a
which
championship
that carries
pedigree.
over for
Like
a
have
while.
they always had good attendance? I wonder.
All right, let me go back to before Luka.
Yeah.
Not in the 90s.
Because they weren't good last year.
Well, there was
2018.
Derek Harper.
Yeah, Derek Harper years? No.
Yeah, go back 2 years ago. So the year before Luka came.
They were still, they still had the highest.
But that might have something to do with what you're saying about championship winning and their
Nowitzki,
owner consistently
yeah.
competing. Nowitzki, that's another thing they had. Let's not forget that.
That's true. They got
A
Dirk.
star, a legendary star,
Yeah.
the best player in their franchise on his decline.
Yeah.
People still want to go see him for the last time. That's going to put people in the
true.
seats.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
That's another thing that puts people in the seats. Surprisingly declining stars.
Yeah.
The Kobe farewell toll. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. We can talk about that.
I saw
Is Melo
Al-
bringing fans to Portland. Even though
Not-
Portland probably does well.
Portland's third in
Yes.
attendance.
Portland
Yeah.
always fills that place.
fills that place
Yeah.
because there's not much to do in Portland.
Right.
Some,
Well, here,
some of that helps
okay,
too.
so back to the superstar conversation. I brought up Damian Lillard, which is an interesting sort of special case, and this is probably a different conversation if you have it right after the playoffs, which is what I was telling Dexter, because those moments matter. And he probably crossed over into the quote-unquote mainstream with that one shot that he had against Oklahoma City in that series, waving bye-bye. And then
think so.
and
because he
then
had
I
an
think-
iconic moment. I think
Yes,
that matters
I think
too.
I
so.
think that sort of puts him at that tier where
think
people will
so.
come to see him. Now, Portland not winning right now
That's
doesn't
That's
help.
hurting that. Yeah,
That hurts
Right,
for
because
him.
that brings in Murph's
But
factor.
that goes
in
to
that,
your
right?
factor.
Yeah.
But if they start winning again,
Yeah.
that's a dude that they're probably
Yeah.
coming to see. Slash Carmelo Anthony too, because Carmelo Anthony's probably second on that list of people you really want to see. Because and that's
He's a
no
name.
shade. That's no shade to CJ McCollum. But yeah,
Oh,
this is Melo's last chance,
Right.
and Melo's still Melo, first ballot Hall of Famer.
Name wise, yeah.
He's like to someone of my generation, he's one of the 5 or 10 best scorers I've ever seen. You know that
Right.
I grew up watching. So
So, but it really goes, and I think you brought this point up. Who you come to see away, like an away team.
Yeah, that matters to me a lot.
Who brings you out as far as that goes?
Yep.
And I don't know if Lillard's in town. I'm coming to see Dame Lillard.
I think well now that they're 5 and whatever, then that
Probably not.
makes it a little difficult.
I think he was always teetering. Like even if you're the diehard NBA fan or casual NBA fan, you knew Lillard was good, but he was teetering. I thought Brian made this great point. I do think that shot
The bye-bye moment helped.
It shot him
pushed
up.
him up a little bit.
those
right?
moments
It definitely
matter
shut him
in the
up.
social media
Let-
age.
Memes and all that.
Let's at least say that he's at that point where you'll be like, I'll think about it.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like he's kind of in that I'll think
It
about it.
won't be
zone.
too expensive either because it's not the Lakers.
Right.
And
You
is
know?
he more of a draw than Kyrie even?
I think so.
Kyrie's such an
Because I know
interesting case.
Kyrie's a champion, but I'm saying today I think Damian Lillard is. Now, if you have this discussion right after
That's a
Kyrie
good
wins a
question.
championship, then no. I think,
Kyrie's
but I think
such an
so.
interesting
Kyrie has an iconic moment too with
So-
a great shot.
does he?
But
Woo!
here's
And
the
it's more
thing.
entertaining.
But we have recency
player
bias.
with a handle and the oohs and eyes.
He's
Maybe.
Uncle Drew for crying out loud.
But Damian
that.
Lillard had the most recent moment, and I think that's what I'm basing it off of. Is just recency bias.
That's a good point
If
about
you-
Kyrie, though. He's Uncle Drew. Everyone knows Uncle Drew.
Yeah,
And still he ain't drawing.
but here's the thing: he also gets hurt a lot. Like now
Is he
he
even
is-
playing? When was the last time
Now-
he played a game?
Out 4 games. And
Now
he's missing the next 3.
I'm
Well,
just playing.
He could. Well, they're calling it a shoulder impingement or
Impingement.
impingement or
Yeah.
whatever. And for
And he
all,
will miss the return in Boston. Looks like Kevin was probably gonna miss that game anyway too.
for all we know with the Nets, it's probably a shoulder tear. Like he might have
they don't-
he
'cause
might
they
have
don't say
he might
anything.
have a torn labrum for
Well,
all we
because
know.
we asked Kenny, and he's like, day to day, nothing new. We just,
But that's
right,
what I'm saying
that's
because
their
I remember
response.
specifically, and I brought this up, and not to derail this whole thing, but with Travion Graham, they said he had like a pulled hamstring or whatever,
He was out for like 2 months.
torn because it was
Yeah,
torn.
yeah.
Sham said it was torn. I asked Kenny Atkinson about it. He's like, no, that's false. Da 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 da.
was
2
torn.
months later, oh yeah, Travion Graham is on this team. They did it with Jeremy Lin too. They're like, oh, hamstring day to day. Then you find out he has a setback.
They get
He
all
misses-
Spursy with their injuries. They get very.
So that's what I'm
like-
saying. This Kyrie thing, if we already know he's missing that road trip, then that's a little serious. And it kind of sucks because I wanted to obviously see him return to Boston.
Of course.
Yeah,
of
how many
course.
games is that going to be? After
That's
7.
3 more.
They
7
said at
total.
least 3.
That's
7
significant.
total.
But I will say
That's
this,
what I'm saying, clever.
not to derail the conversation, but I will say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Again, because we were at the game last night. They're looking actually kind of good. Only because when you don't have a singular talent.
I'm not gonna say anything.
No, hold on. No, because I know where you're going. But
I'm not going nowhere.
when
I'm
you
staying
have a
right here.
When you have a singular talent, it's very easy to be like, and just watch him do his thing. They don't have that luxury because there's no Karras either. So they have to do the whole by committee thing. And it just happens to work better when they do that.
The whole by committee thing be working with them.
It just works better for them. Because with Kyrie's, they're just like...
We'll also see because they beat the Kings.
Yes, let's not get crazy. It's the Kings and the Hornets on Wednesday. Yeah, so let's not lose our minds.
So that's two of the lower... Right. That might be two of the 5 worst teams right now.
Defensively, they also look better, too.
Yeah, Kyrie has not looked great in the beginning of the season. And I saw...
he did early on.
Yeah. But, I actually saw a Net fan on Twitter, our man Yves Darbo, he... responded to your point about thinking
Kyrie
that
Kyrie
Kemba thing and how
I didn't respond because I was like, look, I'm not lighting this fire again.
But
saving it for the podcast.
With the whole ratings thing and the stuff we're talking about with who's must see and who's box office and who's not, it seems to me like, and this is the larger conversation we've been talking about. And again, we have to take ourselves out of it because we love basketball.
Yeah, we're a different
casual
viewer.
fan. Yeah.
What does a casual person actually care about when it comes to the NBA? Like
matchups.
What do they want to see?
Highlights.
Matchups
A person or
Highlights.
a team?
That's
win?
That's why I think Kyrie and Damian Lillard are on that sort of they're teetering. But I would say Dame yes, Kyrie no right now just because of winning recency because of highlights.
That's a good
question. When you go on Slam, when you go on this other brand I'm not going to mention, and then when you go on like House of Highlights and things like that, you're going to just see highlights. You don't see wins. You don't see losses. You just see highlights.
I mean, the Clippers beat Houston last. I don't want to get the date. We're taping this, but on a Friday night, and all I'm seeing in my Twitter is James Harden moves, and I'm like, wait, didn't they lose?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's
happened to me where I woke up
I don't want to
late.
be get off my lawn guy, but
that's become part of the culture that I have not liked. Right, like we've become like there used to be a thing, and it's gonna make at least the three of us sound a lot older. You couldn't cross somebody and miss the shot,
right? And
then you put the highlight.
Right.
Like, nah, man,
Right.
you can't like go up for the dunk and almost, murder somebody in the air
and miss the
but
dunk.
you spaz. Like that's not cool,
and
man.
This is what we were saying about James Harden right before we got on. Is that
and I love Harden. Just to be clear,
Brian does not.
I know. I'm a huge Harden guy, but
it's Harden a box office guy because he's so polarizing.
No, I don't think he is.
I think his polarization makes him box office.
I happen to agree with you.
Yes.
I happen to agree.
Because as many people think his game is great, so many people hate his game.
Yep.
So,
okay, well, I could get
and
behind
they want to
that
come
then.
to see him fail.
Yeah.
But I was saying people wanting to see him, I'm not sure. But yes, there are a lot of people like me who don't really enjoy watching him play when he's trying to draw fouls all the time. But anyway.
And he's a name. Like the fact he's one of the biggest names.
He's not just a name, he's a brand.
Murph. And he got a beard.
Yeah. That's but really.
So that you say that's part of his brand.
No, but Jarod, that's part of it though. Like he's known for having a beard and a faux hawk.
Yeah,
like he's known for that.
And he also
it's his
gets
whole
buckets.
identity. What are you talking about?
And look, there's something to be like. People know the step back, left-handed. You know what? I'll put Harden in there. Just
he is.
For me personally, he's not.
Even though you don't like
for
it,
me
right.
personally, he's not.
I think that's being fair.
I mean, listen, taking the foul drawing aside,
yeah,
that's a bad dude, bro. Like when he catches the ball,
when he gets to the playoffs,
you're like.
But this is where I'm going. But this is where I'm going.
Let's be honest here.
But look, Jarod, this is where I'm going with James Harden. We were just talking about it in your era, right?
Yes.
In you guys' era.
Yes.
The old man get off my lawn era.
No, but what I'm saying is that's when winning sort of seemed to matter more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
James Harden would be getting killed by a lot of people like Michael Jordan was used
And he
like he used to be. No, but he's not getting killed enough.
You don't think he's getting killed enough?
No, he's
Really?
still celebrated for the winning that he's doing. I mean, not for the winning, for the plays that he's doing.
I think it's twofold, right? National media kills him for not winning. The internet culture loves him for like making people fall.
I do, and I do think those two. I do think those things.
I think it could be both.
Yes,
right?
it's two of those
But
things.
I think generally, I don't think the losing gets accounted for enough. And I don't want to say losing like he's lost because he's on good teams. Like he's the reason that team is where it is ultimately. But
I went back and watched the 2012 run of OKC to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yo,
that's one of your favorite teams.
Harden, Westbrook, and Durant were bad MFers. They were 23 years old. I was like,
also nothing to lose.
I was like,
and Ibaka, you can't leave Ibaka out.
I was like, this team is incredible. They took down this and made
Gerard's
them look
still mad
like
about
old, like
Jarod is still mad to this day that
Oh.
they traded James Harden and didn't make it work
Because
between
it's-
all of them.
You know what? At that
we traded him
time,
over $4 million.
at
The
that
cap went up the next.
at the time, I said they weren't going to be able to pay him. It meant it was good.
Dog.
However, It was awful.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yo,
Three
you can't.
dudes who were 23 and younger who went to the
Who
finals.
all won MVPs.
And mind you,
Not saying that all would happen on the same
everyone
team.
remembers that finals as, oh, LeBron's first, Besides the game-clinching game 5, when
Game
the
5.
Heat won, every game was
Was
close.
close, yeah.
And the Thunder won game 1.
Yep.
Okay, so
You know what I remember about? You know what I remember about that day finding out because it was really late and I was getting ESPN alerts on my phone. So I was in a White
was
Castle.
livid.
I was in a White Castle with a bunch
Why?
of teammates. We were playing basketball in league. This is my
And eating
freshman
White
year of
Castle?
college. Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's something you can do when you're 18. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Eat
So-
White Castle and play basketball.
Because there was a
Right.
White Castle by Queen Center Mall, whatever. So we were just chilling there. We all saw our phones. Oh, James Harden just got traded. We all said the same thing. Oh, he's about to go off.
Yo.
That's the unfortunate thing about it.
And here's the thing, too, and we'll get back to like our actual conversation. We know the reason, and if we can get truth serum on Sam Presti to admit it.
He knows he messed up.
Well, but he won't say the real reason. What had happened was, if you remember, Harden was bad in that finals, right? And part of it was the stories were starting to come out. Well, when the circle wasn't leaking out. We don't know how serious Harden takes this. He might like that nightlife game too much. We don't really know if he's going to be that serious about
And
his
it turned out to
craft.
be correct.
I mean, listen, he is a Houston.
He would have broken all their regular season records. Don't get me wrong.
He is a Houston certain gentleman club legend. Let's just and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But that was, and they were like, we don't know about this guy. We can just get Kevin Martin replace his offense. And I'm like, looking back, you're like, oh my God, Kevin Martin for James Harden? Are you fucking out of your
Right.
mind?
And Kevin Martin, by the way, solid scorer.
But he ain't James Harden.
Right. And
Like-
and also at that point, he was what he was. James Harden still had
3
development.
MVPs.
Look,
and they ended up keeping the worst of the
I
three.
think Sam Presti would love to do that over again. He chose Ibaka over Harden. He was wrong. He did it to save money. You mentioned the cap going up the next year. All correct. He should have done that over again. You don't break. I think the lesson learned is when you have talent like that, you don't necessarily break them
talent
up.
that you drafted. You didn't have to
Right,
trade
so-
for them. You
right, so you know you
drafted
can pay
them.
them on their rookie extensions for
Kind
at
of
least
like the
7
Knicks.
years.
You don't give away.
Amen.
Oh, God.
You know how I feel about that, Murph.
A 7 foot,
A great-
7 foot
no,
3.
I don't know.
potential superstar.
Your best
Well,
player you
we-
drafted.
Especially you drafted him.
To
drafted
be
him.
honest, though, we still
and
have
now
to,
those picks from Dallas do not look as good because Dallas.
we
is
still
out.
have to see how that looks in 5 years, but it doesn't,
No,
doesn't look great right now.
it
No,
don't
you
look good
do.
now.
You
Why?
do. Because if
What could
Porzingis
possibly happen?
Porzingis breaks down, like people expect that he might.
Why? I don't
does he,
understand why
when
people
does he have
do
to
that.
break down by?
What?
How many years does he have to,
I just said, if
what
five-
if he gets hurt 3 years from now for the rest of his career? Was it a good trade?
Maybe. It depends.
But except that you traded it for cap space, essentially.
Well, that's the problem.
Which you signed
That's the
9 power
problem.
forwards with, right? Like,
But hold on.
And-
Now,
and-
wait. We got to get back to the
Does
superstar.
Dallas look like a top 4 playoff team? Yep.
Like,
Does it look
they-
like?
they look
does it look
so-
like if?
Wait, a what?
Does Dallas look like a possible top 4 playoff team?
They look
could
so
be.
This
good.
year?
They could be.
They look so good right now.
They look good.
They
Their
look
role players are
good.
playing good. Let me tell you something.
I ain't doing
Here's
it.
all I can.
Top 4?
I don't care if they're top 6. It doesn't. You know what that means? They're not going to be a lottery pick, and the picks
That's-
against them
that-
are not
that's
going
right.
to
Sure.
be
Listen,
that good. So
I know
Knicks,
you're hurt.
Picks won't be
They
good.
better do some
He
good.
said, "I know you hurt."
I know you're hurting.
Damn right,
now.
I'm hurt.
He said, "I know you."
But you're right. The picks won't be good.
Right.
They got,
So you're not getting
the
as
Knicks
high
got
returns
gassed,
as you
the Knicks
thought you
got
were gonna
gassed
get.
with that, and the players they got back turned out to be not that good. I think we know that.
Dennis
now.
Smith Jr.?
Yes.
I'm
And at the time,
Give him
I was
time to
still,
like, yeah.
I was
Well,
still pretty high on him.
gonna give him a little
I
bit
wanna-
of pass because
I-
of family issues he went through at the beginning of the year. But
He's still- yeah.
I still am not impressed.
I want to
So,
get back to the superstar conversation because there are some names that I want to throw at you guys
Let's do
who
it.
might be on the border,
Yeah,
but I
let's
have
do
a
it.
feeling I know where you're going to go. Joel Embiid.
Yes, Mussy.
Oh wow!
You think he's must see?
I say
That's
no,
your
not
guy,
yet.
though, yeah.
I say not yet.
I think we think he's
He's
teetering, not there
I
yet.
don't think-
Because I think he captures the social media generation. No, because he's
Now
a control.
that's
You wanna
what
go
I
to the
said.
game and see him.
That's
I
what
mean,
I
I
said.
do.
All right.
That's
You don't want to
interesting.
see JoJo play?
I love it.
What about the casual fan?
I do. I think.
What about the casual fan? Because me personally, I'm in, but casual fan.
I think if the casual fan is a social media NBA Twitter person who likes memes and highlights, yes.
See, then that
If
person
they're
to me is
not-
not a casual fan, though.
You don't think it's a casual fan?
If they're searching for that content, if
Yeah,
that
yeah,
enough,
probably.
I think they're not.
Okay,
the
that's
House
fair.
of Highlights
But-
stuff too.
but
You're
hold
not
on, let me
really
also-
a
let me play-
casual fan if you're like searching.
Let me play devil's advocate on myself.
Maybe
Are
not.
you saying that the casual fan is more somebody who actually watches games and doesn't care about highlights? Because if you're making that point, then I kind of understand where you're coming from.
I don't think the casual fan, I think, and I could be wrong. You tell me what you guys
Sports
think.
Center.
No, House of Highlights.
I think-
like,
I'm just asking you
highlights.
what your opinion
I
is on
think
that.
the
Yeah.
casual fan actually wants to watch a full basketball game, but they have a different idea of what basketball is now versus what it could be. And that's also That's also demographics, how old you are, right? We have different things. The casual NBA fan who's in his 40s plus is very different than the casual NBA fan who's Brian's age, right? The casual NBA fan's Brian's age is how's the highlights, that's where they're looking.
I think that's fair.
Casual fan who's 40 plus or into their 50s is like, can't these guys just play basketball and they're right?
Well, those guys are watching college basketball.
Right, but I think some of them still love basketball enough to want to watch the NBA.
Yeah.
But they don't want to see Twitter shit scrolled on their sideline. They want to just show me a game, right? So I think we have two sort of compete. The NBA wants both of them. Let's be clear. They want both those people.
Right.
But
Now,
how do I cater to both of them?
I think that's fair.
Let me throw another name at you because I don't think he is for mainstream, but I think he is for a particular region.
Okay.
Kemba Walker.
But what region is he? Is he primetime for?
New York. Probably Northeast. I would probably go the whole Northeast.
Yeah.
No.
He's got the
saying
UConn
that.
connection.
But that's the thing because of that. Because you know how you know how revered he is here.
Yeah, Bronx
And
kid,
also
like all that.
national championship, again, winning matters.
Huge.
And that was in UConn, and now he's in Boston. So that's why I say the Northeast, I think he's probably at
He's
that.
must-see for us NBA diehards. For the casual fan, I'm going to say no.
Yo,
What about the casual New Yorker or Connecticutian or whatever?
See what
I
helps.
think you got to be a basketball fan. Like,
fan,
be a real fan.
Fan.
to
What
appreciate it.
helps him is that
I think let's
this-
say if you went to UConn though, like if you just went to
That's
UConn.
I don't
That's
think that.
different.
I
That's
actually
different.
don't. I actually don't think it matters as much because I think what helps Kemba right now, and this kind of goes to Murph's point before, brand matters. He now plays for the Celtics. The Celtics, wherever they go,
Yeah, that brand matters.
on the road,
Yeah,
that I don't
brand
care how
matters.
bad the Celtics
Yeah,
are.
well, that's what
they'll
brand
put
matters.
Celtics
Right.
fans in the seat.
Okay,
When
so-
he was at Charlotte, people weren't checking for
I was
him.
gonna say
Yeah.
put him back in Charlotte. Does he still have the North?
No,
does he have?
no.
You don't think he has New
UConn.
York?
He'll have UConn.
Yeah.
Do you
UConn
think he has New York and Connecticut?
If he comes,
That's mainly
if
what
he
I'm
comes,
saying.
If he comes to play the Nets, he comes to play the Knicks, and even when he was in Charlotte, if he came and played in Boston because they got UConn ties there too, those people would have come out for him. But outside of
But
that,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's to me.
But that's why I said regional.
Okay,
That's
yes.
all you
Okay,
want.
so in this region, yes.
No,
Because
I'm,
out-
that's
outside,
what I'm
no.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he does it for a specific
Yes,
region,
yes.
and for basketball fans, not the casual fan.
No, yeah, diehards.
Unless that team, now if Boston starts winning, and
Yeah,
he's a
they
part
are
of that,
winning.
then yeah. Well, no, late in the year.
But I'm just playing.
Yeah,
Oh, Lord.
yeah,
we ain't getting on that now.
yeah, no, that, yeah.
We talked about Giannis already, right?
Yeah, we talked.
for
we
sure.
talked- we
He's up
talked-
there.
we talked, yeah.
Nikola Jokic.
No,
No.
no,
Now,
don't think
for,
so.
for us, yes, because we know
For
how good
basketball
he is.
fans, yes.
Casual, no.
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 Casual, no.
Nobody even knows who that dude is outside
That's
of.
what I'm saying.
Luca.
Yes.
He is
He's-
close.
he's-
I don't
yeah.
think he's
I
there.
think he's
yet.
there already.
He might be.
He's there.
If somebody wants to put him there, I'm
I think
fine with
the
that.
hype. I think
We're
the
just
hype
talking about-
train.
But we are talking about the hype. That's what we're talking about.
The hype train
that's
got
kinda
him
what it
there.
is.
Well, the hype train.
Casual fan.
Now, mind you, he's delivering. I don't want to
I
get it
think
twisted. He's
that-
delivering.
Well, that matters.
That matters.
Though. That
The winning
matters.
matters. I think his name is now. You're seeing him on national TV.
Yes.
You're starting to hear more about what he's doing, getting the triple doubles. It's put him down in that.
Also, he's
conversation.
entertaining. Like,
And
the
let's
dude-
just-
let's
the
just
dude
be
talks
honest and
Trash.
just-
He laughs.
Let's be
He
honest
step
and call it what it
backwards,
is.
He pulls
Yep,
from like half.
agreed.
Come on, Jarod.
Let's be
Come
honest
on,
and say
Jarod.
what it is. It matters that he's white and good at basketball.
It does. It does
matters.
matter.
Yeah.
It matters.
All right, I'm gonna give you a few more because we got to move on. John Morant.
No,
No, nobody
not
knows
yet.
John. I mean, we loved, yes, but no one knows
Nah.
John.
I actually think he's kind of close.
No, he's not close.
I think he's-
no
he's
one-
a lot
I-
further than you think.
Way
I think
further
he's-
than
I
you
think-
think.
Well, how far do you think I think he is?
I think you just said you
Listen,
thought he's close.
We go
I said
outside
he's
right now
further
and
than
ask
that.
10 people on the street, you know who John Morant is? They'd be
They
like,
would
"Who?"
nah. They would be like, nah. No, I think you're.
You gotta
I think
be a
you're-
fan.
You gotta be
Yeah,
a
you gotta
fan,
be a
man.
fan.
Nah.
Fan
all
to
right, all right. He's gonna be a star very, very soon.
I don't think
Listen,
you might be
you
wrong.
know I hope him and my boy Triple J become stars in Memphis. You know that.
I'll probably give you 3, 4 more. Paul George.
No. I love Paul George.
I agree with all
Gotta
of
be
you.
a
by the
fan.
way.
Gotta
I
be a
love
fan.
Paul George, but he's not.
Even with the Nike hat, he's not.
Donovan Mitchell.
No.
No, he plays in Utah. No.
I guarantee you Donovan Mitchell was in another market, though. If Donovan Mitchell was playing in Miami, I might be
He
talking
will
differently
be.
about
He
it.
will be in a couple years.
Who else is like a top?
I think I know where he might be coming.
Who else is a top 15
really?
player?
Yeah,
Ooh,
I don't
Jimmy
know.
Butler.
No.
No, but people know him, but not like that.
Because he is.
he's too blue
I would-
collar.
I wouldn't say. Well,
Agreed.
that's the thing. I wouldn't say he's.
Brian Fonseca All-Star.
I wouldn't say.
Yes. Yes.
But he's kind of like soccer fans like him because he's cool with Neymar and he's cool
Yeah.
with Mark Wahlberg, so he has that
I mean, Jimmy-
whatever.
people know Jimmy.
So there's that kind of thing.
But
I don't know
he's
if
not-
people are coming to see him play
No.
because he's blue
No.
collar.
No.
But if Miami does continue to win at that
Yes.
level,
Yes.
then he's
He
going to
could.
be one of the people that
I
they'll
think
come to
that'll
see.
be more
he'd have
about
to-
the
he'd
But
have to
that'll
win
probably be
championships.
more of a Miami
He'll
thing.
never be a D Wade. Never.
What if they win a title?
Never more than
Not that
one.
he's
Well,
gonna
that's
be.
not gonna
Not
happen.
that he's gonna be Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
But not that they're
He said, "What? It's not gonna be
not this year.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like
if they get
while
somebody
he's
if they
there,
get Luka, maybe they.
while,
Yeah, that's
Could you imagine Luka in South Beach?
oh Lord.
Jesus Christ.
well, first of all, I have a conspiracy theory that they're getting D'Angelo Russell at some point.
Well, he ain't taking him no championship. Is he even? What's up? I want to ask you about him too. I know it's your boy. Not really.
Who's
but
my boy?
I'm joking. So he's kind of your boy, D'Angelo, in terms of rooting for the guy and all, and noticing
Who
he was
rooted
nice,
for him?
Noticing he was nice.
I covered
from
him. He
early-
cool.
From early,
But like,
I'm just saying.
You got real defensive.
You big him up. You've been bigging him up the last few years.
not really.
Yeah.
Nah, you think I am? You should see Twitter, bro. You should see other people on Twitter.
Objectively, I'm just saying that.
Yeah, no, you're not saying you're a D'Lo stan. He's saying that
I'm not saying you're staying.
I think you
point
liked.
out-
I think you liked his turnaround. I
Yes,
think
you
that's
point
what
out
he's
his
saying.
turnaround. You objectively
and
say
you
like
do point
no,
out when he
but-
does good things.
But you know what it is? I think that people are way too hard on him for dumb shit. And I think that
No, you've
we're-
been right about
Yeah,
that.
I
You've been
think
right about
that
him.
we oversee that 23-year-old all-star at point guard
That's hard to do.
in
Yeah,
this
yeah,
league.
yeah.
Like, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like that's
what's been his deal at Golden State? He's missed.
he got a
many
sprained
games.
thumb and they're
Listen,
tanking.
they tanking. They trying to
That's what I'm wondering.
everybody.
Like,
They getting
doesn't
James
he need
Wiseman.
He doesn't need to work.
Apparently not.
Last name, Karl Anthony Towns.
No.
No, but he should be because he's
That's
got the
the
talent
thing.
to be
Well,
there.
that's
He
the thing.
Should be.
I feel like he should be.
He should be.
And I don't know if it's market size or, but I think
He
it's.
put some
playing in
numbers.
Minnesota doesn't
I'll say
help.
that.
I think it's winning.
That's why winning
more than
matters. There
anything
goes-
else.
And his game is a little ugly. I'm sorry. To
Except
say.
this year, not so.
No, I mean ugly like aesthetically. Like he's very effective.
He's shooting
he
like
has-
9 threes a
his
game
skills
this
His
year.
are
step back
crazy.
looks funny.
Yeah, it looks funny. You know what I'm saying? He's like his dunks. His dunks aren't like a Giannis. He doesn't just wreck the rim like
Even
Giannis
though he's been
does.
playing with much more aggression this year, I see what you're saying.
I
You
mean,
still,
like-
you're still like, y'all know if I buy
I'm
it.
not dissing him. He's
No,
a great
but I
player.
mean,
As we said,
And
wins.
he's also a playoff guy who hasn't done anything to play. As Embiid pointed out.
Yo,
in
but
the- in the
but this
little
is
beat.
interesting though because we were talking about the whole thing about people going for highlights and wins not sort of mattering
Yeah.
as much. But when it comes to buying a ticket, it seems that wins matter. So what are we doing there? Is it just the convenience of
Unless
being
you're in
at
New York
home,
or LA.
being at home and not
Yeah.
paying for anything,
It's
and people just want to?
well, the NBA, like everything else now in the 21st century, is competing for mind share. Think about it. When we grew up in the 80s and all of us born except for you, we grew up in a different era, right? Like there weren't that many things to do to occupy your attention span, right? Now there are a billion things to do on any given night that are before sports, right? Then you're like, oh, I guess I'll turn on this game.
Even with sports,
Even-
like look at NFL. They've had some issues in terms of people coming to the games. Because most people would rather sit home and watch all the games.
Yeah.
Well,
have
football-
access
that's
to
the thing,
have
yeah.
access to all the
And
games.
football in
And
particular
even
is just-
basketball, for instance, I've thought about it. Should I go to this Nets game or should I just chill and watch all 12 games and tweet about all these joints?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But here's the thing:
Yeah.
you can grow, and as we all know, you can grow your brand if you're in the media, or even if you're just a regular person. You can grow your brand from at home better than you could if you went to a
Getting
game.
these jokes off of
For
these hot
free.
takes.
It's a good point Jamal makes about the expansion like League Pass and stuff.
Right.
And I've been a League Pass subscriber for like 6
Love
years
League
or whatever.
Pass.
Yeah.
I don't know
Word.
what I'll do with it. I love it because it's great for me. I travel for work. But it does make you take maybe from that experience of being like, yo, do I really want to go to the game? I still love going to the games.
Yeah.
I just don't pay
yeah.
to go see my team because they're not worth me giving them my money.
But a lot of people do. Are you talking about the Knicks?
Yeah, well, that's also
They're-
the problem
they're
with the Knicks,
seventh in
right? But a lot
attendance.
of people still show up, so there's no incentive for the ownership to actually improve the team when they're still getting money because people are filling the seats.
Well, I think one thing we're talking about casual fans. I think what fills up a stadium, no matter for the Knicks in LA, for example, even it doesn't matter if they're winning or losing; they're going to be full. It's the casual fan and the non-fan. You know what I'm saying? It's just because you're going there for
Good
an
point.
event.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And see-
You might not even care. You just want to be around
People and
maybe-
a spectacle.
You want something
so that's
to
why
do.
it helps when there's a winner.
Yeah.
Like if it's not New York City and LA.
Sure.
If that's why it helps when there's a winner. Like in Dallas, if they're winning,
Milwaukee.
it's an event.
Yeah.
Everybody's happy. Blah,
You're
blah,
right.
blah.
You're right.
It's the place to
Yo,
be.
do me. I just
That's
thought
a great
about something
point.
that Murph just said.
Yes.
Can you pull up the Clippers attendance numbers? Because something I noticed on TV watching, and I got to get up Staples, and I've been to Staples for a game, but like to cover a game. Lakers and Knicks, right? They are the two dominant teams in their markets, right? In terms of attendance wise.
Clippers and Lakers are very close this year.
I'd imagine.
What are the Knicks? I'm just curious.
7th in average, and in percentage, they are 16th.
But on the flip side, right? Brooklyn and the Clippers are the stepsisters or stepbrothers of those two teams.
Yeah.
if you watch a Clippers game, the road team often has a lot of people in attendance, even with the Clippers being
because
the better team, right?
You know why? The Clippers brand just still isn't as strong
Right.
enough. Out
Whereas
there.
the Lakers can be terrible for 8 years, and it's still going to be majority
But
Lakers
so
fans.
right
And-
now, to answer that, the Clippers are 8th in attendance. The Lakers are 9th.
But that speaks to what Murph is saying.
But
Because
is it more road people though coming to watch?
This is home. This is
But-
home.
but that's
but in
what-
percentage, the Lakers are slightly higher.
But that's part of what can happen in the city, right? The Garden or the Staples Center. For the Lakers and Knicks and their brand, it means something to just be there.
Yeah.
Right? Like a non-fan would be like, oh, man, I was at the Garden, I was at the Knicks game.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? And they don't care about the Knicks.
Or any,
Right?
Just to
NBA.
say,
Or whoever's even coming to
Right,
play
right.
them, right?
I was at the
and I
Garden.
think a lot of that happens in LA too, where it's like, yo, but I was at the Laker game. Let me
Right.
put this on here for the gram so y'all can see that. So you get
Ain't
these
nobody
people
checking for the Barclays Center.
right, and that kind of hurts the Nets and Clippers in terms of attendance because nobody's really like, I was at the net. No, I'm not trying to disrespect the Nets. I'm at the net game. The Barclays Center still isn't like this is the spot to be.
Yes.
It doesn't have that cachet.
And
I
to
blame,
that
I blame
point,
Barclays a little for that too.
Well,
'cause
yeah,
I don't.
we
I mean,
get-
there's potential there.
Yeah, totally.
I don't think
Bed-Stuy.
They do things in a
In a
kind of
very
corny
strange
way.
way. Let's
Well-
call it what it is.
In a way that does not align with the culture of Brooklyn.
Right.
That's
Or
because I know.
or
it's what
even New York City.
Yeah.
You're
Right.
in New York City.
Well, here's the
Earth
thing,
to
too.
Barclays, you're in New York City.
well, I think the problem is
Watch what MSG does. You know what I'm saying? And copy him if you have to. I don't
to
care.
your point, even today, celebrities that be at these games, that's where you know the difference too. 'Cause who's at Knick games? Meg Thee Stallion is there and she's hot right now. ASAP Ferg is there.
You're
She's-
right.
Was that a
he's
Knicks game?
at-
I missed
but
it.
ASAP Ferg is at
all
Nets
the big
games
games.
because they got some sort of deal. He's at Knick games
Listen,
a lot.
Joey Badass and what's his face and Steve Madden know he would be going to Nets games.
Right, that's the thing, right? So when you go to Nets games, it's Steve Madden, Ashley Graham, no disrespect to her, Joey Badass.
Right.
At Knick games, you get Spike Lee all the time, but you also get like really, really
You get
big
girls, you get
celebrities.
Sophie Turner, you get
If David
the
Beckham
Jonas
is
Brothers.
if David Beckham is in New York, he's pulling up.
Yes.
You know
you
what
get,
I mean? Like,
you get B and C-list celebrities in Knicks games, and you know what? The Knicks still find them on the broadcast and still shout them out. My man Weebay from The Wire was on there the other
Yo.
day, and I was like, oh man, I'm surprised they actually shouted him out. I mean, Mike Breen's a huge Wire fan, but that helps. But still,
Yeah.
it's still a place to be. It
Yes.
means something to be at the Staples
Yes.
Center.
Yes.
It means something
the
to
Lakers,
be.
Jack Nicholson,
all
Snoop
that.
Dogg,
Yeah, Denzel.
yeah,
all that.
Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah, like it means something to be there. And I'm like, no disrespect to the Clippers, who is worse for them because they play in the same building,
the same
or the
building.
Nets. Right, the same building, but different experience.
Right.
But
Right.
that,
wild.
but to
wild.
Jamal's point, it changes with winning. So if the Clippers do win a title this year, like some people
Oh yeah,
expect,
that could
then-
change the culture very quickly.
It still won't be a Clippers town. It'll still
No,
always be a-
no,
but
but
they
same thing.
will-
Same thing. If the Nets win a title
it
here,
won't- yes, it'll
it
still be a
won't
Knicks
be.
town.
It won't be. Yeah, it won't be a Nets town. But they'll progress in that sort of area.
Which is weird because when the Mets, like Mets Yankees, we all know the Yankees are a more historic franchise and they have more fans. But when the Mets win a World
Yes,
Series,
it
in
is
New
a
York,
Mets. It becomes a Mets town.
a Mets
It
town.
does.
That's true.
It does.
Or the Mets go through a playoff run. It
It
does.
does.
Right.
Look
You know, when
at
they get to the World
2015.
Series,
In
it becomes-
2015.
It becomes, it's a Mets town. So I'm trying to figure out why that is because, you know, I mean, this is 1960. How many years was that? Like, how many years did it take? It took 20-something years.
Right.
Maybe
know.
because I mean the Knicks have been here for so long. The Nets just kind of got to.
And I wonder if baseball is different because of all the teams that left,
Maybe.
and then
And the
differences,
Clippers-
the Dodgers and Giants fans that came together, and some probably went to the Yankees. So you have that
yeah,
history.
and
Yeah.
the Clippers' history, they've been bad. They were bad for so.
They're also not
long.
from LA. You gotta remember they're from San
Right,
Diego.
and
so
they-
And with the Nets and not from New
They're
York.
not from
And
New
they were
York.
also bad for so
point.
long. Where the Mets, yeah, they had their bad stretches, but there was winning even as early as 1969. Then you're talking about another
And-
World Series appearance in '73.
Right.
They won in '86. Then in the late '90s, they got good again, and they went in 2000. Then in 2006, they were very good again. So
2015.
every
Yeah.
decade, there's like a little run there.
The
you know?
Mets aren't as bad as people think. You know what I'm saying? Like they
Yeah.
get lumped with the Jets.
Yeah, they
No,
ain't-
no,
they ain't
no.
that
Should not
bad.
be.
But they always, you know, they're successful
they have
way more
moments.
than those
They
guys.
have moments.
They are.
Wow, that's crazy. They've had a run like every decade. Yo, the Jets suck. They don't have runs like that.
So they trash.
Well, they
The
made,
Jets
they made the
best,
AFC
the
championship. a
best
couple
period
years.
of the Jets for me was 1998 to 2004. I think they made the playoffs like
Three
five out of
times? Oh,
I
five?
think it was like 5 years.
Well,
or
that
something.
was when they discovered their second best quarterback
that
ever, Chad
Parcells?
Pennington.
some Parcells. Then some
That's crazy.
Al-
Their second
some
best
Al
quarterback
Groh,
ever is like Chad
Yeah,
Pennington.
yeah, yeah.
and then Herm Edwards, beginning of Herm Edwards.
But because the Jets runs are really just the late, and we're gonna get off this because we
Yeah,
got
please,
we got to get
please
to the
do.
in-season changes.
Please.
But late '60s, Mid 80s, they had a little,
Yeah, it was
Ken
something.
O'Brien
It was
and stuff.
Mark Gastineau.
Late
Ain't
90s,
nobody's excited about that.
late 90s, and then it was like late 90s, early 2000s, then Rex Ryan.
Yeah.
That's it.
He went to 2 AFC title games with Rex.
Yeah, that's it.
That defense.
Did we really just talk about the Jets?
Sorry.
Anyway, done now.
You know we like to hook our listeners up from time to time, and we have a hookup for you today. So for the listeners of the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. You can check out one of my favorite sports books, $40 Million Slaves, The Rise, Fall, and Redemption of the Black Athlete by William C. Roden. That's available on audible.com with hundreds of thousands of other books that you can listen to today. To download your free audiobook today, go to audibletrial.com/AHTT. Again, that's audibletrial.com/AHTT for your free audiobook.
More NBA.
More NBA. We love the NBA.
Episode 100.
Episode 100. Can you say that with a little bit more anger?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Talk your shit, Playboy.
Yeah, he is talking that shit for real.
Episode 100.
Woo. You sound like you're ready to fight.
Shocking.
Nah. I don't want I just be acting ready. I don't actually.
You should always stay ready.
But I'm
you
not.
already stay ready.
Look, I'm ready,
Yes,
but I don't
he
want
is.
to be ready because I don't want it to get there. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Especially in this room, I'm good. I ain't got nothing to worry about here.
Oh, but if you bring the wrong person in here, you might not.
No,
be
but
good.
if I'm outside, then it's
okay.
you probably got to put the mean face on and listen to Griselda. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta.
you always have the mean face on. All right, so the NBA is engaged in serious discussions with the National Basketball Players Association and broadcast partners about sweeping dramatic changes to the league calendar that would include a reseeding of the 4 conference finalists, a 30-team in-season tournament, and a postseason play-in. This was according to league sources who told ESPN these scenarios will come with the shortening of the regular season to a minimum of 78 games. And yeah, I feel like they could shave off more if they're going to do that. But the owners want to get that money.
Right.
I find this fascinating. I don't know how everybody else is going to feel about this. Let's start with this first. I think all of us agree here the NBA season probably should be reduced some,
Yes.
right? I think we all probably
Facts. Too long.
But
we'd
I
be
don't
fine
think
with
I
that.
don't think it fixes much of anything, to be honest. But we get into that.
The in-season tournament.
So,
What are your thoughts?
as you know, as are you. I'm a huge
So you're
Champions League guy,
yep,
right?
soccer
So
I casually like champions.
I love the idea of an in-season tournament. Now, the
Yes.
question is, how do you make it matter to the players that they actually care about it? Number one. So if they're not bought in, it ain't gonna matter.
So the word is that there will be incentives for players and coaches monetarily.
That's one. That is definitely one way to get them
But
them
What's the
excited.
purpose of it?
So, yes, right?
Yeah.
Like
because
That's not clear to me.
Because then you're making games matter more, and that means what? More minutes, more injuries, less load management.
So here's the way I think it would work. Whatever the BRI pie is that is attributed to the amount of home games an owner gets, right? Every team gets 41 in the regular season.
What's BRI?
Basketball related income.
Oh, nice.
Whatever that
I didn't know that. I
Oh.
was like, oh.
whatever that number is, that 41 game number cannot go down, and whatever the projections are, that has to stay the same. So you can reduce the number of regular season games and add this tournament in if you get a sponsor and whomever else to put in enough money to collectively make up for the money that is going away from however many regular season games you're getting. Because then less games, right? Still got the in-season tournament, because it's not about the amount of games, it's the amount of money. That's the issue that are the owners, and let's be clear, the players don't want less money either.
Understood.
What's the competitive purpose, and what's the
So
what's
let me answer that.
because I don't follow the soccer.
You don't follow it.
So how does it work?
So let's say you're
as far
in
as
La
I know?
Liga, right? Which is one of the number one. It's the number one league in Spain. You win La Liga, that's a big deal, right? The La
Yes.
Liga champion. Being the Champions League champion is an even bigger deal because that's La Liga, that is Bundesliga, that's Premier League, that's
Premier
every
League,
other
yeah.
major
And
league
it's in the middle of the season.
Yes,
Yes.
But it runs throughout the course of the full year. So what happens is like let's say the normal soccer season is going on. Then it'll be like, oh, we have a 2-week break because it's Champions League time, right? So if your team is playing during Champions League, you're doing that thing. If your team's not, you got a little bit of a break.
They
right?
do this. They do this in international basketball too, by the way.
But is this a situation where these are all separate leagues playing separately, and then they come together
Yes.
to play teams they wouldn't ordinarily play?
Yes, that's correct.
But that's not the case here.
So it can't be quite the same exact way, right? But maybe you can figure out where you do more cross-conference matchups or something.
And it'll be sponsored by Mountain Dew, Tiso, and Gatorade.
There you go.
Let me explain the process here. So the proposal would include the adoption of this in-season tournament and postseason play. The traditional regular season schedule will be reduced from 82 games, with most teams scheduled to play 78 or 79. There's a small possibility of a team playing a maximum of 83 games based on the possible tournament playing scenarios, league sources said. For the in-season tournament, the NBA is focused on 30-team participation. It begins with a divisional group stage of scheduled regular season games. So what it would be is that, so take the Atlantic Division, the Knicks and Nets and Raptors and Celtics, and am I forgetting another team? No, that's it. Will play each other, and in the winner of that, the six divisional winners will play, and then the 2 teams that are like the best records that were non-divisional winners, I guess they'd be wild cards, and that would be the knockout round. Right, so say it would be 6 divisional winners based on home and road records in the group stage. 2 teams with the next best records would advance to a single elimination knockout round. That's according to league sources. These teams could potentially compete in the quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals.
So it's not. You're describing like the change in the playoff system, right?
No, that's just for that in-season tournament.
That'd be an in-season.
That's just
tournament?
the in-season tournament thing.
But I think they're doing too much.
They're not
How
cutting.
about just make the All-Star game more competitive. How about that?
I'm not sure there's a way you can.
I know, but I'm just saying. Like,
They're not cut. For me, look, I like the idea of it because I actually like how it works in soccer. And in basketball, they do it also.
Let me add one more thing because I didn't read this before about how they're going to break it up. So the NBA and NBPA are finding common ground in a post-Thanksgiving tournament window that will extend into mid-December, league sources said. Months ago, the NBA proposed a late January, February tournament that will culminate with a Final Four during the All-Star weekend. That would have been interesting to put that during the All-Star weekend. That was interesting.
That is interesting.
That idea faded fast. I thought that'd make All-Star weekend more interesting. Both the union and team executive expressed concerns over the idea. The NBA was resistant to shorting players' All-Star breaks and requiring some to potentially participate in the in-season tournament and All-Star weekend. I'll tell you what, upon reading that, I would not be upset at them getting rid of the All-Star game and stretching out this in-season tournament, kind of like.
But then where are all the Instagram hoes gonna go?
Bro, they still coming to that weekend, man.
Brian Waller, he said where the
Where they still coming to that weekend?
shout out to the IG ladies who
I could not pass that.
Why they gotta be hoes though?
they hustlers.
They hustling. They not right. Yo, the beautiful ladies of Instagram that want to go out to All-Star weekend and hustle for their money. Yo, I ain't mad at them.
They just out here trying to do their thing. You know?
Hustle out there, sisters. You do what you
Keep taking them selfies.
Listen.
Seriously.
like. You don't be liking them.
I don't. Listen,
No,
I only what?
I know what Instagram pictures Brian be like, and I see who pictures you be like on
What
IG.
pictures I be liking?
So you stalk what he
No,
likes.
I know. No. It's only because we follow the
You
same
can't even
person.
see that feature anymore. Oh, shut up.
Yeah, I'm
Man,
telling
you
that
know, a
this.
few athletes.
A few athletes
but
that
it's,
he think look good. That's all.
Yeah.
Which, I can't knock them.
Yeah.
You know?
You know what I'm saying? 100. We out here.
I'm just saying. I'm not mad at ladies who go down.
By
to
the
All-Star
way, I
weekend
didn't
and
say they
hustle.
were ladies only. That's an important distinction.
Whoa.
No, whoa, hey now.
You know what I'm saying?
So there's dudes who be whoring out there for Instagram.
Oh
weekend?
yeah, come
I'm
on,
sure there are.
come on.
Well, a lot of people be whoring for.
Let's not
attention,
make
too.
this gender binary. I'm a progressive individual. There are a lot of men out here be giving it up funny too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Brian Wild on episode 100.
Wow.
anyway, they got EuroLeague in basketball too. You know what I'm saying? CSA Moscow, Real Madrid. We out here.
They're trying to figure out a way to make the regular season matter because ultimately what we're all saying
I'm clipping
is,
the hell out of
Like
that.
this tournament, that's would be totally separate. Those games wouldn't count as regular.
No, they
season
would.
games.
They
They
do
would.
count
They
as regular
would.
season
They're
games.
trying to make the regular season
Which I
matter
like.
more because that's the issue right now, right? Is ultimately the regular season even to us, kind of doesn't matter to an extent, right? Because it's so long,
Right.
Right.
Well, there's a reason a lot of us.
half the league makes the playoffs,
But-
right? So it's
But there's a reason a lot of us say that the season starts in Christmas, right? Yeah. And that shouldn't be the case because you're talking about 2 months of the regular season not quote unquote mattering.
Yeah.
But also, my biggest issue with the rule changes is that, if you're gonna bring in this tournament, You're only going to cut the regular season to 78 games.
That's my thing.
Yeah, that's
What are you really doing?
And let's say you do well in that tournament, and you also end up being somebody who's like somewhere between. And I'll get to the end of season tournament. We'll get to that in a second. You end up playing a couple games, and you make a good run through the playoff. You could end up playing 83 games if you play in the in-season tournament and the play-in tournament.
And if you go to the finals, you play over 100 games. In the season.
Chances are those teams probably won't get to the finals, most likely.
Yeah.
But I get your point. I like this. I will say this. I like it to a degree.
I like the idea.
I like the idea about it. I'm sure there's more that can be tweaked. I like the in-season tournament because what it actually does is it makes these divisional matchups actually more intriguing because divisions are kind of been dead and stupid for quite some time.
No real rivalries, right? Like what's a rivalry that you're like, yo, I'm watching that.
That's the thing I like. Maybe this starts to create rivalries because the games being more, the players will know there's money on the line. And if your team is, for example, right now, the Knicks are what, 5-12, 5-13, whatever they are?
Yeah.
Yo, but I might get a little bit excited about this in-season tournament. Players might get up for that. Your team might not be going to the playoffs, but you'd be like, yo,
Well,
maybe
if there's money involved, yeah.
Yeah,
So that's the thing.
I mean, you're going to play these games anyway, so why not put a little extra incentive in it? I don't think it's a bad idea.
But Knicks are 4-11, by the way.
Question.
Don't give them that extra game.
Did I give them an extra win? You know what? I think when they played Philly, I was like, yo, they're going to get this 5th win. Even though in my mind, I was like, yo, they're definitely going to
Well, by the time we put this out, you never know. But question,
Probably
is
not.
there an avenue business-wise for them to do this, but reducing the season instead of 78 to like
Absolutely.
70?
Look, the idea is, I think the sweet spot is 60 to 65 games. That's
agree.
the sweet spot.
I think 70 is good.
Stretched out over the same amount of time that it is now. But what you do is you give them a full training camp. But these guys don't get a full training camp. Training camp used to be a month back in the day. Training camp's barely 2 weeks now.
And this
barely.
year, this year there
4
was
preseason
FIBA.
games.
This year there was FIBA. Next year's the Olympics.
Okay, so which is a whole other situation in and of itself.
Yeah.
That will cut it down to, at most, you're playing in a week is 2 games. Maybe 3, but mostly 2. But that in-season tournament now gets stretched so that the idea is the BRI and the revenue. You can't have that amount of money decrease. That is where that's the core. If we got less money, nobody's signing up for that. But if you can figure out a way to make that in-season tournament make up for the less regular season games, they're going to be all good for this.
yeah.
See, I agree with you.
But
If they
can
could
we?
get into that spot, even if they went down to 70 games, I think it'd be good. But if they could get that 65, 66 in there and make up the money, look, they can make up the money. There's people who would want to put major dollars into this.
Mountain Dew.
Find a ton of
Tiso?
sponsors out here.
Yep.
You know what
Don't
I'm
do that.
saying?
You're gonna get
You get a foreign sponsor.
You're gonna get casual
Turkish Airlines?
You're gonna
Who
get
cares? Anybody.
you're gonna get casual fans who don't have league pass that might say, hey, you know how they now have the single game thing? I might want to buy this one single game to see this divisional matchup. There's revenue to be made there. It can
They can
happen.
do it. They can do it.
You could do almost like a NCAA tour, like
Almost.
single elimination.
You can almost do
That'd
it
be
that
crazy.
way.
Well, that's what it's going to be once you get to that knockout round. It'll be single elimination, which I think is something you're adding to the NBA that makes it different from the playoffs and exciting. That's why I'm for this. What the NBA doesn't want to do is they don't want to get rid of, they don't want to shoehorn the games on the Christmas Day schedule.
Yes,
Even though
I understand
they
that.
still want to keep the Christmas Day games, these big
They should.
marquee matchups,
Yeah.
and I get that. Now,
That's their showcase.
the play-in proposal, okay, guys, for the end of the season, it'll be 2 14 tournaments featuring the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th seed in each conference. The 7th seed will host the 8th seed, the winner of that single game earning the 7th spot. League sources said. 9th seed would hold 9th seed, can't talk, would host the 10th seed, with the winner of that game facing the loser of the 7-8 matchup for the final playoff
Really?
spot.
Not 7, 10, and 8, 9?
No, that's interesting. So
Well, I like that, but
So
I don't
7
think
and
people
8
will.
I don't mind that. 7 and 8 play for 7. 9 and 10 plays for the spot with the loser of that 7.
I don't think people are
the
going to
last
go
one.
for that because I think what people are going to ultimately conclude is that, whoever wins this is going to get smacked around by the higher seeds. I would enjoy that little 4-game.
But here's what
4-team
I guess
playoff.
what they're doing is they're giving the 9 and 10 this chance to fight for a game that matters for them to actually get in. And like if you finish 8th, at least there's some value to that because now you have to lose twice to not make it.
Okay.
So I kind of like that for the 8th
So let me-
seed.
so
The
let's
NBA
do- let's do this
the
right
NBA
now.
Mess it up though.
Let's do this right now.
People that start tanking. the 10th seed team, like, nah, we want the draft pick. They got all their rookies out there.
nah, we
Hold up.
The G League team is playing.
Hold on. So let's do this right now. Would you? So it would be single elimination, right? In the East right now,
well,
7.
double if you're 7 or 8 seed.
Well, yeah,
If you're 7 or
okay.
8.
7 versus 10 in the East. Nets, Hornets.
Oh, exciting.
Are we getting people to really watch that though and really care outside of Nets fans and Hornets fans?
Yo, because it's a
because
postseason
then
game.
because you know who's the second seed is Miami. Like Miami's watching either of those teams right now, and then 8-9 is Orlando and Washington.
Wow. Washington, by the way,
who scores a lot.
Check
Look at the offensive
check
numbers.
Washington's offensive numbers.
Yo, the Pistons suck. Wow.
Check Washington's offensive
All right.
numbers.
7-10 in the West. Now this is a little
This
more
is- yeah,
interesting.
way exciting.
This is interesting if this team.
Yo,
has
I'm
a
watching
specific
this,
comeback.
man. I'll be all over. I'd be all over.
Timberwolves Pelicans.
With Zion
With
back.
Zion.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Because without Zion,
But that's 7
it's-
versus
it's
10,
interesting.
right?
It's not that interesting.
I actually have a Timberwolves question for
7-10.
y'all. That we'll ask after this.
8-9 is Suns Kings.
But the way they have it would
I
be
like that.
would be the who's 7?
Oh, my fault. I did that wrong. So
Yeah.
it'll be Timberwolves Suns. See, I don't like that 7 versus 8. Whatever. Timberwolves versus Suns. Kings versus Pelicans.
No, see, I think you want the high seed against the low seed, but I think what you're not realizing what they're doing is I like what they're doing. They're rewarding you for finishing.
Right.
Like if you
Yes.
finish in the top 8,
Yes.
you still get rewarded. It's double
Exactly.
elimination for you.
Right, yes.
So they're rewarding you for that, and I
They're
like
giving
that.
those other two teams.
You get
Right.
double.
Okay.
Yep. You get double
get double
elimination.
elimination.
So it will be Timberwolves
Yes.
versus Suns. Kings versus Pelicans.
Right. So when the
And
7-8
then the loser of the Timberwolves Suns would play. The
Yeah.
winner.
right.
Okay, that makes more sense.
So I like that because
the East will be Nets Magic. And
That's a little better.
better.
Wizards Hornets.
and look, if you finish,
I don't think the casual fans.
So
are
so
going
the
for
thing
that.
is,
I
it
just
still
don't.
it still matters to finish in the top 8 because it doesn't come down to single elimination for
Right.
you. 9-10 is single elimination
Yeah.
for you, but if you
Lose
finish in
once,
the
you
top,
out.
yeah, at least if you're in 7-8, you got 2 chances. Basically you have to mess this up twice to not get it.
What else is there on the rules?
That was really it. Those are really the big things. That's really it. There is some. They're just trying to have a framework on when it's doing. They're talking about this happening in 2021-22 season.
I do.
Isn't that the year where high school players
Yes.
might?
Yep.
Also the 75th anniversary.
the double
That's
draft, which means the new team, the new all-time teams coming out.
Yep.
So it'll be,
all-time teams.
you know, they did the top 50 players of all time, and that so the new.
Oh,
yeah,
they're gonna do a top 75.
All
75,
Yep.
yep.
So
Oh,
it'll be interesting
boy.
to see like how who's what, and all
I'm
that.
intrigued. I'm intrigued to see how that
I want
goes.
to. There's a bunch of names I want to throw at you guys.
100%.
Look,
Dude, say what you want to say because I want to throw some names at you.
look. I think it's time. It's time for the NBA to shake up some stuff with the regular season.
yeah.
The NBA has been
Yes.
progressive in that. It's time to shake up some stuff. Divisions don't matter anymore, but this matters anymore. I think this also, if people want to value the playoffs and getting these extra playoff games for money, because we know that matters, it might help with some of the tanking. Although Murph, I'm kind of with you, with some people still
People
going to
gonna
tank
find a way to
anyway.
tank.
People still going to find a way to tank if they don't want to be there. However, the thing is, if you don't get in the top 8 and get in the playoffs, you're still going to get in the lottery. So
Yeah,
it is what it is.
but I'm all for an NBA single elimination tournament.
I love this, and we've talked about this.
They said if you don't get in the top 8 and you make the playoffs, you'd be in the lottery.
Yeah, you'd still be back
Really?
into the lottery
Oh,
pool.
wow.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing I forgot to add you guys is the other thing that's on the table is the reseeding of the Final Four in the NBA. So when it gets to the Final Four, they would do a reseeding. So potentially there could be this possibility where 2 East teams play in the final or 2 West teams play in the final. I'm not.
Which means it'll be 2 West teams.
well, here's the
Well,
thing.
but
you get the best teams in the finals.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
I have no problem with
I
that.
have no problem.
I don't mind that. I also
Unless
think-
you're a traditionalist and you miss the Eastern Conference versus the Western Conference, I could let that go.
I also honestly don't mind reseeding the entire, like, you know, the top,
Well, that's the thing,
top
yeah.
16 teams period make it. I don't mind that. To
I
me.
think they won't do that
I know they
because
won't.
of too much with
Yes.
travel.
Yeah,
I think that's why they
that'll
won't do it.
it'll
But that
cause
makes the
travel
most
issues.
sense.
Yes, that causes.
Oh, I think it makes a whole lot of sense.
because it'll be very
You-
Western.
Because then
You
you're,
could do
you're
it.
guaranteeing the best 16 teams.
And you're going to
You
make a
could do
better
it if you
playoff.
shorten the regular season and space out the playoffs.
Because again, you got to remember this is a TV product, and if the majority of things are happening in the Western time zone, it's going to screw up the
Yep.
TV and the red
that's
zone.
huge.
Yeah, but I need to watch Orlando.
Yes.
That's a great.
Yes,
TV
you
look.
do need
No,
to watch
I
Orlando.
feel you.
I actually like Orlando.
I do,
Right.
you know,
'Cause-
but I like Jonathan
You're not a
Isaac.
casual
You know what I'm
fan.
saying?
Overall,
That's
we
true,
talk about
that's true,
this.
that's true.
We love the NBA, so we're never gonna stop watching it. I do worry about.
Well,
the-
unless they start acting like the NFL, then maybe I
Well,
have to think
yes,
about it.
that's a
But
different
that's
thing.
not going to happen.
The Sports Walk is back. Watch Season 3 of Backpack Broadcasting's original web series that brings you the opinions of real sports fans. The first 2 seasons and current season are available now for viewing on the Sports Walk YouTube channel and Facebook page. Check out the 2017 NYC WebFest official selection and see what other sports fans have to say on the hottest issues in sports today. It's easy. Just take the Sports Walk.
I do worry about the league though, in terms of like how it's marketed and like, listen, stars are important, and this is gonna lead me to the question I'm gonna ask you guys. And I love that the NBA pushes its stars, but what happens for the casual fan, right? And I know we keep focusing on them, but that's the market the NBA wants. When all we care about and talk about is James Harden and this person is that person, does anybody actually give a damn about the Rockets or about the Clippers or about, right? Because that game when Kawhi sat out the first end of that back-to-back in the load match and everybody lost their shit and all that pearl clutching that was going on, that was a good-ass game without
Yes,
Kawhi.
it was.
It went down to the last seconds.
Yeah.
But nobody talked about that the next day. It was all, load management. The fans came to see Kawhi.
That's the issue too.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
no, but the game was good.
Yeah, because
Like-
I mean, when you flip on First Take, for example,
That's
that's
all
what they're
they
going to be
talk
talking about. It's talking points. It's not necessarily, yo, this dude had 38, 16. Because you see Luka do this all the time. They don't start talking about it until he's 7 triple-doubles in.
It's crazy, but I do have a question for you guys. Thinking about stars and just on, and I posted on my podcast, but on pure talent alone, can you name more than 5 duos in the league you're taking over Cat and Wiggins? Just on talent, not on what they've accomplished on the court, none of that. Just on strictly pure physical talent.
Okay,
Okay.
so I'm taking LeBron and
LeBron
AD.
AD,
Okay.
Kyrie,
He said,
Kawhi, and
Paul George.
Kawhi and Paul George. Are we including health or like
Harden and Westbrook.
are KD and Kyrie healthy in this scenario?
You sure?
Okay, so KD, Kyrie,
Kyrie, Harden and
Harden,
Westbrook.
Westbrook.
Harden, West. Well,
I'm taking them.
See, look at your right. You had a pause for a minute. You're like,
because I'm thinking about
Curry,
I'm thinking about
Curry and
listen,
Clay when healthy.
Listen, Westbrook's drop off is coming and it's going to be dramatic.
ugly.
You know,
What
so
makes you think it hasn't started?
My point only being about those two
But
is
that's
that
that's a discussion for me
But
because of Westbrook.
they're starting to play close to
to-
what their talent level
They
is,
are.
and they could be a nightmare. Again,
They
they
are a
haven't
nightmare.
done shit yet.
I mean, they're a regular
look,
season nightmare.
Wiggins, and I heard you talk about this on your podcast, Gerard. Wiggins has been
Yo,
a lot
On
better than
pure
I thought
talent
he would.
alone?
on pure talent,
The
not
thing-
just what they've done. On talent.
So I agree with that. Like maybe I'm coming with 5. It's hard for me scanning my brain to think of more because Giannis don't got anybody else that I think
Yeah,
is
he got
great for him
nobody.
to be paired
Middleton?
with there.
Nah, I ain't
No.
I'll take Luka Porzingis over that.
I would too. That's a good one. I would take them too.
interesting. I think I might take Cat Wiggins as
No.
much as I love Luka.
Kemba Tatum, whatever the duo is.
Nah,
No.
not
Is
for
that the
me.
duo?
No.
Not for me. Me personally, no.
I'm looking.
taking Luka
I'm looking
Porzingis,
at
though.
top
I'm with you
teams
on
in the
that.
East.
Yeah, look at top teams.
Simmons, Embiid.
Maybe. Yeah, I think I'll take that. Well,
Look, here-
I mean, he did hit a 3 the other day. So.
Oh,
Wait,
oh my
question.
God!
Wait.
He hit 1-3.
Wait, question.
Oh.
He took a 3.
Oh.
That's the
Wait,
important
question.
He took it. The fact that he took it.
Butler and Bam.
Is no.
They're not a. You don't even call them a duo
I'm just
yet.
asking.
Is Luka better than Ben Simmons?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is he what?
Yo, here's the thing.
Here's
If you shoot
yo,
you make it,
Gerard.
and you also rebound and give assists,
I'm
you
not
are better than
disagreeing.
Ben
I'm
Simmons.
not
His numbers
I
are
know
way
you're
better.
not.
His
but
numbers are way better.
Gerard, here's the thing. Like,
Offensive numbers are way
here's the
better.
thing. Offensively, it's not even close.
Not even close.
The reason why
Defensively, Ben Simmons is
well,
better.
that's
That
why.
is the reason why you
and that
bought
is
is the
why.
defense,
That's
man.
why you know.
But Ben Simmons' best attribute is passing. Luka might be better at that.
Yeah.
He is
Well, he's a
better.
better defender, but than Luka easily. That's the thing.
I actually think Luka's a better passer.
I do.
And he's
But he's better at everything on
he
offense.
rebounds really
basically.
good for his size.
Everything.
I
Everything.
mean, Ben Simmons is a good rebounder too.
Yeah.
But
Um,
if your point is that we are sleeping on the Cat and Wiggins
No,
as
it's
a
even
duo,
just like because you know what happens? They've been in the league so long because Wiggins came out after his freshman year. So you're like, damn, that guy's in his 6th year. He should be good by now. He's only what 20.
except he is playing
He was
good
under.
now.
He was on that 25 and under list. that we did last
Trey
year.
Young,
Yeah.
John Collins,
No,
not there yet. I like the both of them.
I like them.
Jamal.
I
I know you like Trey.
Top 5 second-year combos, or whatever.
Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic.
No, they're on the outside looking.
Because you know why?
Really?
As much as I love, I love Jokic.
Is it Murray? Is it
Yo,
Murray?
man, Murray got
okay,
me.
okay,
Murray got
yeah.
me feeling some kind
Yeah,
of way,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I don't know what it is about him.
He's got to put it
But
together
so you're.
consistently.
Oh, here's another one. Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert.
No, because Rudy is so limited offensively. I
Yeah.
love Rudy defensively,
I
but
do
Rudy's
too.
But here,
so limited.
so basically, there's anywhere between 4 to like 9. It's based on preference.
Yes,
it's based on
yeah.
preference.
I think they're probably somewhere as like the 6th or 7th best duo, Cat and Wiggins.
But
could you imagine if they actually do like I know you said like they're but like actually reach their potential? Like, damn, they could be so good.
because like
Wiggins,
most of the duos,
especially Wiggins.
most of the duos I name, I'm taking them over them because granted, we're talking about talent
But
level,
you're
but
thinking
I
about
don't.
what they've accomplished too, like taking that out of it.
But like for example, I saw Cat against Bam Adebayo in that early game of the season, and I saw what Bam did to him on defense, and I'm like, yeah, I like the guy who plays defense. Like that's why I think with Ben Simmons,
But Cat
he
is
at least
good,
plays
man.
defense.
Cat could be like Cat's
He
a
is,
50,
but
40, 90 guy.
as we saw in the playoffs and as we've seen in other big games, he can get shut down relatively easily by dudes who just want to defend him.
And he needs to get tougher mentally.
Mentally. And look,
I think fighting Embiid kind of started that
I think
process
it
of
did.
him,
I
like,
hope
getting
so.
himself.
he's got more aggressive.
But here's the thing: if they reach their ceiling together, then yes, they could be a top 5, probably top 3 duo in the NBA.
But see, that's the thing.
But I don't know if that's gonna happen.
I guess
that's the question.
I guess it with other duos like Murph mentioned with Porzingis and Doncic. That's the reason. I see what Doncic is doing. I've always believed in what Doncic could do. I still damn sure believe in what KP could do, and we know how unique he is. They could be scary.
Oh wait,
scary
I
good.
got one more duo for
This
you.
better be good.
Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson.
Damn, that's actually a good. That's actually a good duo.
one.
Why you doubting me for?
Because you know, I thought you was gonna do. I thought he was gonna say something stupid like
some Miami shit
R.J.
again?
Barrett and Marcus Morris.
I thought about it though. I thought about it. I was thinking Devontae Graham, PJ Washington. What's the dumbest one? Isaiah Thomas, Bradley Beal. You know.
God, Jesus.
I thought he was gonna say something stupid like, no, Ingram and Zion.
But
is
Ingram
really
and
good.
Zion, if
Ingram looks
if
great.
Ingram
we
continues,
got to see
to
him
do
on the
that.
court together.
We got to
But-
see Zion.
That is
so.
true.
In 10 years, do you think John Morant?
I was
Triple
good.
J-
That's
and
what I
Triple
was-
J. You know.
Your boy Triple J had to
You
come
know,
back.
Listen,
Look.
I worry about Triple J sometimes. I be
worry
watching
about-
games
I
and
worry
I'm
about
like,
him.
I expected more from him this
worry about
season, but
I
we'll
worry about
see.
him a lot. I gotta call him.
The
actually.
motor,
Like, my
the
man,
motor.
What you doing, bro?
I'm not worried about Ja, but Triple J will.
It's also that offense they run. I'm like, why are you
And
standing
people talk
in the
about
corner?
Zion injury prone. Ja too, man. Like the way he goes in,
I
he
know.
goes
He's skinny.
100% hard all
Well,
the
I was
time.
I was worried about Triple J coming out of the draft.
What, the motor?
No, like I just saw him in high school, and I was like, I don't.
No, I was worried about his motor.
The
in
motor's actually
college.
fine.
'Cause no, but in college he didn't dominate.
He
as a
didn't.
freshman.
For me, it's
The
not the-
motor's
did.
okay.
I-
I don't like this offense for him.
Well, I also think that he should be a better rebounder than he
Yes.
is.
Well, because he hangs it at the 3-point line. You can't get any rebounds when you're at the 3-point line.
Well, same thing with Porzingis, right?
Get down in the paint.
And on top of that, just the foul trouble.
I'm
Like
getting hot
he needs
now.
to grow out of the foul trouble. Like
Oh,
that's the
he
thing.
is so foul prone.
Yeah, he needs
Yeah.
to grow up.
Damn.
Period. Seriously.
By the way, you know he's younger
Yeah.
than Morant. Even though Morant's
is he? I didn't
yeah,
know that.
he's
Yeah.
yeah, he's the young.
Well, oh yeah, Morant did 2 years. I forget.
But
That.
Morant looks more polished for the NBA.
Oh,
game
we
already
didn't.
now.
We didn't.
And I
men-
like Triple J.
we didn't mention Lillard and CJ.
You know my thing with small guys.
The thing is, the thing is,
can't-
I like the both.
I mean,
I
granted,
just
I
don't-
love
they're
that,
they're
but-
both in their primes right now.
I just don't think
but-
that duo works to
No.
win you a championship.
No.
Oh no.
But I like the both of them.
Yeah, and also Curry, Clay still.
Because
Yeah,
what I love about Wiggins in town, especially, is their size. A 7-footer and a 6'7" guy. Like,
No, but shout out to Wiggins because he's one of those guys who people pretty much gave up on.
Yeah, they're like,
and
he's done.
and took pride in giving up.
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
right.
Because people,
And we're like, and to me, it's a lot. You know, to me, it has a lot to do with the numbers and the analytics culture.
I agree.
Because they look at, they broke it down to the point, it's plus minus, blah blah blah. But also, it takes away from the human part of the game where
Yes.
people get better. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you're 23, 24, you don't know. You're acting like you know who he is and who he's going to be forever. You don't know. You don't know how hard he's going to work over the offseason.
Good point.
You don't know what coach can motivate him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think Wiggins is a good deal because people, like I said, people actually were out there. A lot of media people out there taking pride in shooting him down. He's a bust.
They were doing it
forever.
with
How do you
D'Angelo
know
Russell,
he's
too.
not even 25.
He is the analytics media. And again, I hate broad brush because we like analytics here, but
Right,
like
no,
we
I
don't
like
don't
stats.
use it as our like
But
number one thing.
what's funny about Wiggins' improvement, if you have been watching the games, is what the dude has actually done is he's cut down on his long.
He is
twos.
now the analytics darling.
Yeah.
He shoots threes and goes to the rim.
Right, so he's been going to the rim better, finishing at a the highest rate he's ever had in his career. He's taking more efficient in terms of analytic shots. So he
his
did the things
passing.
that. So now,
Playmaking.
how much of that do we want to put on Ryan Saunders? Maybe him and
I give
Ryan
him
Saunders.
credit.
Listen.
Yeah, maybe Ryan Saunders got to him. So to your point, you can't know what these kids are. Everybody looks at people's improvement is going like this.
Linear.
And
It's not
sometimes
linear,
it's
man.
like this.
And I like to.
You
I look.
say that all the
I try
time.
to look at basketball. Like
Yeah.
I watch if you
The
can
game.
play basketball. Even with Carmelo, people saying, "Oh, you can't play in today's game." Blah blah blah. I'm not buying that because I know I've watched him since Syracuse. He had a complete game at Syracuse. Yes, depending on whatever team he went to, he became a pure scorer. But I know he knows how to play the game. So it's really up to him and whether he can adapt. And you can't tell me
The
that
thing
you
is,
know
he
for a
has-
fact that he can't. There's
He
certain
had
things he can't
adapted.
do.
The
He
knock
did.
against him,
18-7-4, second game back.
He doesn't take. Since the Thunder,
shoots threes.
He shot more threes.
He shoots threes.
He
No
cut
more
down on his
mid-range,
mid-range.
yeah.
But nobody gives him credit for that, which is a complete distruth in the
It's
narrative.
analytics, man. That, and again, I hate, but like there are certain
Watch
people,
the games, people.
Right. and then use the analytics to help you.
Yeah, but
That's my point.
but that
Just watch
goes
the
to
game.
where this podcast all started, minus the whole 100 thing that I went on. Is
The anger you
just
display.
watch the games and not highlights.
Yes,
People
yes.
are just watching highlights.
Yes.
If you watch the games,
It'll
then
tell
you'll
you.
just be smarter.
He-
Like Bomani Jones told us when we went up to High Noon and talked to him.
He
The
did,
most
yep.
important thing is just knowing what you're talking about. And a lot of people are talking, not knowing what they're talking about.
Listen, I had
You
a
can't just look at numbers and know the whole story. That's-
100%. I had a conversation with Stack that's coming out soon, and Steven Jackson was like, "Analytics never took a charge ever. Analytics don't listen. Use that to help."
That's true.
Literally, he's like, "Analytics don't
Yo,
know how to
that's
take a charge.
great.
That can't
That is
measure
great.
heart." He's
Yo.
like, "I don't." He's like, "How you gonna tell me about what some chart says about?" And I'm like, "Stack, I'm with you. Like, I hear what you're saying.
Analytics never took
It
a
is
charge.
a piece.
That's
not
a shirt.
the full on.
That
Yes.
is a shirt.
Yes.
Make that shirt up.
Shout out
I'll
to
rock
Stack
that.
Jack.
I'll
That's
rock
the
that
steak
shirt.
sauce, not the steak.
Stack's that dude, man. Like he
Yo, and I like their podcast.
Listen,
Him and
all
Matt
the
Barnes,
smoke. Listen,
like their-
I had a good time
like
talking
their-
to Matt and Stack, and they are those are some
And
real.
the Knuckleheads is cool.
No,
too.
no, those two, no, between them two podcasts, like,
Yeah.
you ever sit around with the four of them? But beyond the fact that you'll get contact high
Yes.
if you don't partake. It's woo.
Yeah, I enjoy what they're doing right now, man. It's good. All right, we got to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Episode 100, the Friendsgiving episode. Want to
Shout
wish
out
everybody
to Dexter Henry and Brian
Word
Fonseca
up.
for their 100th episode, man.
100.
Subscribe,
100.
baby.
100.
subscribe. Please subscribe, follow, continue to support. We could not have done it without the support of a lot of people. We have to thank our people here at Gotham Podcast Studios, all the great engineers, making up words, that we work with here, the people who started with us in doing this podcast when we were back doing it at college we worked at, Matt Faniza, Louis Velez, my man Matty P. Shout out to all of them, all our friends and guests who've come up, including Jamal Murphy and Jarod Hector. We thank all of y'all. Want to wish everybody out there a safe, healthy, and happy Thanksgiving and much greatness to the indigenous people who allowed us to be on this land, for the people who like to claim that wasn't theirs.
Shout out to the indigenous people.
No, we got to, because they forget the story.
real.
We forget the story. Sometimes I want to make sure we don't do that. All y'all here, have a great Thanksgiving.
Same to you,
Yes,
man.
you too.
Don't eat too much and come back, out of game shape. Got to be back in podcast shape.
You can count on that.
Gotta be ready. That's it for episode 100. We are in the triple digits of the Ain't Hard to Tell podcast. Until next time, y'all. Peace.